It's Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, we preview the upcoming budget. A giant in the progressive movement has died. A pioneer in education remembered. And Radio Bahamas celebrates 8 decades of broadcasting. So let's start the morning off right.
The Morning Edition is brought to you by We Buy, You Sell Company, your leading hurricane impact windows, doors, and tile specialist.
To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Edition. I'm LaDawn Davis.
Good morning, everybody. Really love that quote. We'd like to apologize for our late start due to some technical difficulties, but we're going to give you the full half hour, and we're not going to waste any time, LaDawn. We're in a party mode here at the BCB, 86 years of radio, but let's take it out to the streets where our Corporal Kemp is standing by with your Tuesday morning traffic. Good morning, Kemp.
Good morning, Fisher. Good morning, LaDawn. Good morning, Bahamas. Presently, I'm in the area of Independence Highway, Blue Hill Road roundabout. And let me tell you, it's a beautiful day. Persons are going to their various destinations. And this is certainly a day that the Lord has made, and we should rejoice and be glad in it. And I just want to say to the bus drivers, in particular this morning, you're offering a service where you're assisting members of the public to and from their various destinations. Persons who are not in the position of having their own vehicle, so they depend on you to travel, take them and their families safely to their various destinations. But I have a problem that as a public service driver, a lot of the bus drivers, not all of them, but a lot of the bus drivers are not taking this serious for their career. The way they are driving is dangerous and reckless to the members of the public. And it's wrong. I want you drivers today to take this serious. You're rendering a service, and therefore you ought to be professional at all times. Be mannerly. Be courteous to the other road users. This foolishness with bus drivers having issues and war against one another on the streets, driver against driver, passenger against passenger should not be happening. And this is why we are clamping down on a lot of the foolishness that are happening on our streets, particularly with our bus drivers. Remember, you ought to be dressed properly at all times, not wearing slippers and short pants and singlets, driving while texting, driving while drinking alcohol beverage. This is wrong. And if anybody who has family members who are family members of bus drivers, remind them that they're giving a service to the members of the public, and they should be responsible at all times. And please, anybody that's traveling throughout the day on the streets recognizes a bus driver that's driving in a reckless manner and a dangerous manner to the public, report that to the police so that we can deal with that in a timely manner. Also, I just want to say to the members out there that we are still looking for this white Honda Accord that would have been responsible for the latest fatality in the Camp Road area. And I want to say to the family members and relatives, you probably have seen this vehicle. You've seen this vehicle parked. You've noticed some extensive damages to the front of the vehicle, and you realize that they might have been involved in a serious crash. Please do not aid and abet these family members or friends, because it could be you. It could happen to a relative or loved one of yours, and you want someone to be responsible and come forward with the information so that we can bring the matter to a close for that family member. And it's a sad day again that when we can knock someone down in the street and don't render any assistance and leave that person in the street and leave that person whose family members wanting their loved ones to be at home and they're not going to make it because simply you couldn't do the right thing. Be responsible, you driver, if you're listening, and turn yourself in. Have a conscience, all right? Have a heart. Other than that, today is a blessed day. We expect it to continuously be a good day. And back to you in studios, Fisher and LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Kemp, for those advice. We are waking up to 77 degrees, partly sunny. Winds east-southeast at 8 miles per hour. Humidity 78%. Now, seasonably drier and most benign weather conditions will persist as a high-pressure system anchored northeast of the Bahamas continues to stir fresh breezes across the country today. For areas where the partly sunny to sunny, warm and breezy with a few light passing showers and a slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm mainly in the vicinity of large land masses. Your daytime high temperature 88 degrees Fahrenheit, overnight low of 73. As we look ahead to Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday some good conditions, rain subsiding in the afternoon, partly sunny, 85 in the day, 76 at night, and then on Thursday, breezy with a thunderstorm expected in the morning, 83 in the day, 76 at night.
Continued economic recovery and improving business activity will be some of the key areas of focus in the upcoming 2022-2023 budget communication Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis will present in the House of Assembly on Wednesday. Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Halkitis, says this budget is intended to address issues impacting Bahamian households.
We are seeking to bring relief to Bahamians in a variety of measures, and we want to tackle issues such as the cost of electricity, energy reform, as well making sure, of course, that we can adequately provide for all of the services that the government provides, inclusive of education, security, health, etc. We believe that what we need to do is to be supporting and encouraging activity, and that does not include the introduction of new taxes.
Commissioner of Police Paul Rose says he's not able to verify reports that 3 American guests of the Sandals MLB Resort in Exuma died as a result of carbon monoxide poisoning, despite the confirmation in a local daily. The nation's top cop says he is still awaiting the findings of the autopsy and toxicology reports.
Check the parameters of the doctor and dictate to the doctor and the guest report. I simply wait. We are conducting the investigation, and once I get that, we would make it the cause of death. We make that available to the public. That's the report itself, as I've indicated earlier, that if there is a coroner's inquest, that would be released at that time.
29 new cases of COVID-19 confirmed in the latest release from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, 28 here in New Providence and the other in Grand Bahama. Of the newly infected, 12 show a history of travel within the past 14 days. Hospitalizations were at 10, all listed as moderately ill. There have been 34 new recoveries. 661 cases are still active. The 75th World Health Assembly's meeting continues in Geneva, Switzerland. Senior House Officer at the Ministry of Health and Wellness with responsibility for health policy and planning, Dr. Sharita Moxie, is a part of the Bahamian delegation.
Through interventions made on the floor of the Assembly, the Bahamas can either support a resolution, adopt a decision, or note some recommendation, normative guidance, or report. These interventions really become the voice of countries, and through consensus, the global health agenda is fashioned.
Neurosurgeon, writer, political activist, and diplomat Dr. Eugene Nuri has died. Dr. Nuri has been credited with engendering a more activist and aggressive posture for the Progressive Liberal Party following the party's defeat in 1962. Following his retirement, the French-trained doctor assisted then PLP leader Perry Christie with his return to power and went on to serve as ambassador to Haiti and Washington, D.C. He appeared on the ZNS television show Legends with host Anthony Newbold several years back.
In secondary school, I was always curious about the human body and particularly about the brain. In fact, I wanted to be a psychiatrist, but I recognized that the psychiatrist never actually saw the brain, except in the laboratory, whereas all the books I read of neurosurgeons showed them, in fact, going into the brain and the brain's extension, all the nervous system. I wanted to be a Benedictine monk. And thirdly, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon.
What do you want from a cloud solution? You want flexibility and edge? You want to modernize applications with the ability to deliver new ones with lightning speed. You want an infrastructure that's automated, secure, cost-effective, and scalable. You want to give the end user the freedom they want with the control you need. You can't get all that from just any cloud. You need something better. You need Bahamas Cloud. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
team has learned that a freak accident on Chesapeake Road about 2 weeks ago claimed the life of retired Aquinas College educator John Cornelius Sosu. He was 71 years old. Sosu, who was born in Ghana, taught geography at Aquinas College for more than 2 decades and was a fundamental player in forming the BGCSE geography syllabus in this country. His colleague, Elizabeth Morrison, described Sosu as passionate, dedicated, and innovative with a wealth of knowledge.
Mr. Sosu was a no-nonsense person, especially when he came to teaching his passionate subject, geography. I would call that his first love. He was also passionate about economics, which I would regard as his second love. So yes, he was knowledgeable, and he exuded that to the students whom he taught, many of whom have been able to come back and say, Mr. Sosa, thank you, man. I learned so much in geography, like to dance, for example. And he was very, very proud of his Ghanaian culture. We worked together on events such as Commonwealth Day, which were most memorable, when we had students hearing not just about the Commonwealth, but seeing teachers from different countries showing off their culture. And Mr. Sosa would be one of those who would wear his national costume.
Morrison says even though Sosu retired from teaching in 2015, his death was a blow to the education community.
It was really hard to accept. It seemed too surreal. We had spoken a few weeks before about the current BJC Social Studies coursework, and we were in communication on that. So to hear that he had passed in such a way, it was really heartbreaking. I would like him to be remembered as the teacher who was not only knowledgeable, but able to execute whatever was necessary for students to understand his discipline.
Hotel workers were among the first to be negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, with hundreds losing their jobs and many more furloughed. However, some were fortunate in overcoming their circumstances. Here's Carla Palmer.
Her journey to success is a road well traveled. A lot of stops, destinations, and shopping for entrepreneur Indira Ford of Jania's Creations.
We primarily do a lot of customized items, t-shirts, party treats, burlap bags, anything in the line of customization. That is basically what we do. We create labels for Capri Sun. We create chip bags, and so we're all about creating happiness and smiles to make events most memorable.
Ford has been in business for over 10 years, operating simultaneously while holding down a job as an hotelier for almost 3 decades.
My customers are those persons who want to give a pop, a good appeal to their events. I have a lot of referrals, adults and children events I do as well. I've also even launched into providing party treats for funerals as well, customized party treats. And so for any occasion, weddings, birthdays, funerals, you name it, graduations, I have actually seen a lot of growth in the business since I started, particularly during the pandemic. I've had an opportunity to focus a lot more on the business, and it's going very well.
In addition to being furloughed for almost 2 years, it was Ford's love of graphic design and custom art that would, however, push her to cut ties with the local hotel property to eventually establish a home-based business in Western New Providence.
In March of 22, I made a decision that it was just time to move on. I want to honestly say that the pandemic has given me a different mindset and a different outlook on life. I was able to focus a lot more on the business. The pandemic allows me now to be able to see that if I can do it full time and grow the business, meet the demands and the needs of my clients, I will be a lot more successful at it.
A woman of faith, Ford says it was a higher power that gave her the courage and determination to move beyond the circumstances surrounding the COVID pandemic, showcasing a silver lining in her life at a time she most needed.
Actually, I've always been a person to just love to see people happy. I've always been very good with my hands. Decorating is something that's always been a part of me. And so it became easy to generate a business, create a business doing something that I love and something that I'm passionate about.
With no regrets on leaving her job of 26 years, Ford says for her, everything has now leveled out. Managing her business, she says, while devoting equal time to her family.
As we head to the break, we take a look back at today in Bahamian history. On May 24th, 1971, the Lutheran Church of Nassau on John F. Kennedy Drive was dedicated after being constructed at a cost of $165,000. Also on this day in 2003, former St. Augustine's principal and leading Bahamian sportsman Deacon Leviticus Uncle Lou Adderley died at his home in Highbury Park at the age of 70.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
And if you don't know the name by now, get to. He's Keyshawn Strong, the #2 world-ranked javelin thrower at the junior level in the world. His effort of 262 feet 1 inch at the Grifter Games, a new national record, and yes, he's very humble.
Feels pretty good. This is something I've been working hard for a while. So I'm kind of pleased with myself and my performance in this year. You know, I just trust God, put God first. Put God first, and then everything just will come. And want to stay patient, stay focused, and believe in myself. And I know how to come up on top.
And coming from the island of Andros, he is carrying the weight of the big yard on his shoulder.
I love my island people, love my own people. They've been supporting me from day one. Yes, excited to, bring back good news to them, bring something back, World Championship, bring back a gold medal for my island. Coach Maycock, he brought me from Andros, so he saw something special in me. So he just continue to trust in him and trust in his works, and that's what bring me up.
He graduates from St. John's College in June, and then it's on to the Tigers, where he signed his letter of intent from last year.
Start college afterwards, Auburn, and then I'll come back for senior NACA like 2 weeks after. Day of what I want to major in professional flight. I want to do aviation and aircraft maintenance.
And before he jets off to Alabama and college, he has some events for the rest of the summer to wear the colors of the aquamarine, black and gold.
I have World Championships in August 5th, August 1st. I open PB and bring back the gold medal.
Best of luck. The Oak Tree Medical Sonia Knowles Track and Field Classic also took place this weekend at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. The meet designed for athletes from the ages of under 7 to masters went off without a hitch.
I think it was a well-organized meet. It's a meet that went against the grain. It's not very typical that we'd have a track and field meet on a Sunday. But obviously respecting the protocols of the Christian Council, we thought that it was okay to have a meet after the church proceedings and then come out after a Sunday dinner and really have a good time.
Miami Marlins infielder Josh Chisholm removed from Sunday's game against the Atlanta Braves after just 2 innings due to a left hamstring tightness. On Saturday, Audney Albies made contact with Chisholm's left knee while attempting to steal second base. Chisholm stayed in the game, but running the bases seemed to hamper the injury. The Marlins were off yesterday and start a series in Tampa tonight. Not sure if he'll be in that lineup. And Bahamian collegiate basketball player Nathaniel Bastian set to take his talents to the Division I ranks. Formerly playing at the Division II level with the Angelo State Rams, Bastian entered the transfer portal earlier this year and recently committed to Cal State Fullerton Titans on the Big West Conference. In his lone season with the Rams, Bastian received Long Star Honorable Mention conference title. He led this team in rebounding and block shots, averaging 7.8 boards and 1.4 blocks per game, while averaging 11.3 points on 63% shooting from the field.
Hello, I'm Mario Nuri, returning to you with another informative program of A Familiar Walk, Steps Toward Hurricane Preparedness 2022. Join us with Madam President Therese Curry, President of the Bahamas Red Cross, Captain Stephen Russell, Director of NEMA, Mr. Charles Johnson of J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, and meteorologist Wayne Neely. We welcome you to be a part of our journey as we remind you that precautionary measures taken now could save life and property in the future. Join us.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
This Thursday marks 86 years since Radio Bahamas 1540 AM was born. Desmond Sanders spoke with the chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, Picewell Forbes, who was once a leading on-air personality.
My first day at the corporation, June 4th, 1981, as a young man, just with 19 or so. And I was introduced at that time to Mr. John Jefferson Scovala. And he would have been the voice. Young man, you've come here to ZNS. What you want to do?
Chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, Picewell Forbes, reliving fond memories of his first day at ZNS some 30 years ago.
So in production, I wanted to go into engineering because I'd studied electronics. And the word was that I was too small and too skinny as a boy, at a big head, as an island boy, to go into engineering. I don't know what, I can't handle this equipment, you know. In those days, that's tripod almost as big as I am.
A stroll down memory lane for the veteran broadcaster who is part of ZNS Radio Bahamas' unique history.
1540 is an institution in this country. It would have been a part of historic events such as the Burma Road riots, the enfranchisement of women, majority rule, self-internal government, leading up to independence on July 10, 1973. The Bahamas Defense Force, National Insurance, all the historical events, this corporation would have been a part of it, especially radio.
At 86 years, Radio Bahamas has carved its footprint as a shining modern national broadcast entity from its beginnings in a small hat shop in Old Town, Nassau, to a modern first-class facility on 3rd Terrace, Centerville. Radio Bahamas was established May 26, 1936. Forbes says the corporation will now be redefining its role to adapt to the changing times.
This is a very critical component to keeping our country knitted, and we can't lose focus of that. The new developments will come first and foremost on the radio. We must now augment and strengthen our talent pool. We must re-engage some persons who would have been here. Of course, there's some younger persons also. You must now be on social media, WhatsApp, TikTok, what have you, Instagram, so persons can also see that you've coupled with these other social media platforms.
Well, we are now joined by Dion Morris. He's Director of Radio. He may look young, but he's been around for quite some time. Good morning, Dion. Welcome to the Morning Edition.
Oh, wonderful. Good morning to you, Fisher. Good morning to you, LaDawn. And congratulations to you, Fisher. I understand your favorite team won last night.
Yeah, the Boston Celtics, but we're getting into that soon. But let's talk about the history and progression of ZNS Radio.
Of course, you know, Fisher, this coming Thursday, we celebrate 86 years of broadcasting in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas when our transmitters were first turned on for the first time. And then a year later, we officially began programming. And back then, you needed a license to operate a transistor radio. But nowadays, everyone have a radio in their cars, in their homes, or wherever. And of course, you know, over the years, ZNS has been tremendous for the family of islands, especially because due to hurricanes and stuff, getting the information out, of course, shipping information, all that, ZNS has definitely played a part.
What are some of the events planned for this week?
Well, of course, you know, we began yesterday inviting former announcers as well as present employees to talk about their experience here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. We're going to continue that throughout the week. Tomorrow, Inspiration 107.9 FM, touching the communities. They'll be in at Stephen Dillett Primary School, where they'll be speaking with residents in that area as well as serving breakfast to residents and, of course, the students of Stephen Dillett. On Thursday, we have a special treat for our listeners and viewers. Speak Up live with our chairman, Picewell Soko Forbes, the hometown boy. Well, 2 to 3. You definitely want to tune in for that on the ZNS network. That's expected to be tremendous and awesome experience. And then on Sunday, we go to church. We 10 a.m. we fellowship with the fine folks over there at Faith United Missionary Baptist Church on Faith United Way. And then we culminate everything on June 1st, where we celebrate some of our long-serving employees here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
And give us some of your memorable moments here.
Where do I begin? Memorable moments? Well, of course, when I first joined the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas as a summer student, technical cadets, operating audio for TV, having a technical challenge in Master Control. This is when Master Control was downstairs and the studios were upstairs. Audio was in the control room, but it wasn't going out to the viewers. The then General Manager Sandra Knowles came storming down the hallway asking what's going on. I had to explain to her that it wasn't in the control room, but it was in Master Control. And that was a tremendous experience because being a young student, 16 years old, having the General Manager yelling at you, what's going on, just to explain to her it wasn't here, but it was something else.
And where do you go from here?
Well, the future is bright. Radio, of course, you know, and we have social media we're implementing, of course, reaching out to, as a matter of fact, the entire world, because Fisher, we get reports from persons all over the world listening to us on 1540 AM, not on the internet, not on our app, but listen to us via radio all over the world. We get reports just about every day from persons tuning in.
Thanks a lot, Dion Morris, Director of Radio, for joining us here this morning. And yes, my Boston Celtics did win last night. I didn't want to rub it in too much because the last time I rubbed it in, we went back out there the next day and did a bunch of foolishness. So I'm just going to even it's all 2-2 right now. And don't forget tonight, Klay Thompson, the Golden State Warriors, they can advance to the NBA Finals with a win over the Dallas Mavericks. They need that. But 86 years, it's been a long, long time, LaDawn. You've been around for about 50 of those?
No, I've only 30 plus.
But be sure to stay tuned into the ZNS Network for news as it happens, radio and TV updates throughout the day. And then you can tune into the Northern Edition at 6:30 and the Bahamas Tonight at 7 o'clock. On behalf of myself, who's just turned 21, and LaDawn, who's 50-something, enjoy your day, everybody.